So, today I want to talk about what we will be diving into more in depth on Thursday's Substack. And that is a book I have recently read called Slow Productivity. Something that I really have been trying to work on is shifting my perspective on work and rest and how those two play off of each other. So, a question that I recommend you reflect on yourself, but something that I reflected on before and then especially during and after reading this book is how do I keep growing without crossing into burnout? How do I enjoy what I've built while still moving forward? Thinking about things like how do I continue to grow and put my all into my business while also maintaining a level of rest and avoiding burnout. I think this is something so many artists in particular deal with because I think as creatives, we want to put so much of ourselves into our business. One, because we're building a business ourselves, but also because we're building something that we really love and we probably love to paint and we love to, do this thing that we're creating. We love to see it being built right in front of us. And so I think that's exciting. And when we see the momentum, we want to dive deeper into it. But that often leads to burnout. And so, any of you that listen to this podcast regularly hear time and time again artists deal with burnout. So, I think this is a really important conversation to have and something I just want to really talk about before diving into the conversation with Meredith, where we do touch on some of these topics like how to have a balanced life, if balance is even possible. But just to give a little bit of backstory into me, I have struggled with stress and anxiety for years. I really, since I was in elementary school, I just don't think I really had the words or the knowledge to understand what exactly those feelings were. And I've definitely been the type person that pushes through, suppresses emotions until it all kind of explodes. And it's very unhealthy. And it's something I think I'm a lot better at now. But I think we're finally getting to a point where stress and anxiety and therapy are being talked about so much more out in the open. And I think these overall cultural shifts have really brought a lot of these things to light for me. So, how does this relate? I have gone through massive periods of stress in my business, and I've just had these kind of moments of reflection of if you are building a business for yourself, theoretically, shouldn't you be building it in a way that excites you, that, brings you joy, that allows you to rest versus that leads you to feel burnout and stressed and overwhelmed, which is where I was, oh gosh, probably a year and a half ago now. So it's been a while and I've really come out of it, but it's still something I have to constantly work on. So in Thursday's Substack, I'm diving deep into what exactly changed in me and how I've kind of grown to be more open with focusing not just on how to grow, but also how to rest, how to focus on what's most important, how to have a slower life that still allows me to grow my business in the way I want to. I still have very big goals and what that looks like for me. So I definitely recommend tuning into the Substack. And then if you are a paid Substack subscriber, I'm diving into specifically the changes I've made. So, what I've actually implemented, what I've learned from Slow Productivity, the book, what I've also just implemented in my own life as I thought more about this. Also, what I'm still exploring. So, some things that maybe I haven't fully implemented or haven't fully figured out yet, but that I'm still learning alongside all of you. I'm also diving into what has changed since slowing down. Like, for example, one thing is I feel so much more creative, and my Reading Girls collection fully came from giving myself space. I had time to go outside, I had time to peruse Pinterest, to read books, to do things that ultimately inspired this collection. So that's just one thing, but obviously I really dive deep into all the different things have changed since implementing a lot of what I learned in that book, which I will also link in the show notes. But finally, and maybe surprisingly, maybe not, the needle really hasn't stopped moving If anything, I feel like my audience is getting stronger. My sales feel steadier. I'm not running on fumes, and yet my business is performing so much better. So I get into all of that. I get into what's still hard, and then I conclude with some journal prompts that will help you to shift your own pace. So to potentially figure out if you want to slow down, what that looks like, and if it'll work for you. So I'm really excited to dive into all of this on Thursday, but I'm also excited because today's conversation couldn't feel more aligned with that theme of slowing down, with creating intentionally, with finding joy in the process.